Welcome everyone to Montreal, Quebec, as the American ball hockey team will be taking on the Armenians in their third game in the World Championships. The Americans had fell short in a shootout last time to the Finns, but they're going to try to look to bounce back. They've had some good games, really, the first couple times around. They lost each of their games only by one. Their other loss coming to Canada, which that was a back and forth battle. The Armenians statistically only have one goal scored, and they're looking to turn things around as well, as the teams are just about ready to get set. As you can see, Danny Schlegel on the left wing for the Americans. Taking the draw for them is Johnny Ruiz. 15 minutes are up on the clock, and we are underway. Daniel Wilson here with you, covering the games for today. As we get a whistle already, this will be coming back towards neutral, or this will be going back to the Armenian zone. The only one who scored a goal for the Armenians is Meli Batri. See if they can add anything to that. In the meantime, they do get possession, as they do run into traffic in the neutral zone. Now chipped in off the end boards and tries shot on net and stopped by Junik, who's in net for the Americans. Back the other way. On the left, drop back with a shot, and that stop, rebound, and covered up. Great job by Rafi Kanajian. He dropped right back over to Mick Carter and almost had a rebound for Corey Wilson, who is an assist to his credit. This tournament has yet to get a goal. As they drive the net, and that's stopped on the way. Dodging a hit is Jordan Albright. They'll throw it into the left corner now, drop back to the left circle, and shot! That is in! Tipped right in, and it is Jordan Albright, and the Americans strike first. That came from a wide angle off the left circle, and left wide open was Jordan Albright. He'll get his third of the tournament. He found his way out of traffic. Nothing but a 6x4 and an early lead for the Americans. That's how you start off the game. And racing into the left corner is Eddie Urban. He gets double teamed. Armenia to get control and just about turned it over. Right corner takes a push from behind. Back over to Mike Malloy. They'll be thrown up, and we get a whistle and a stoppage.
Assisted by number 88, Brandon Garno. Time of goal at 52 seconds.
And do you hear the announcement? Brandon Garneau will get an assist on that one, but that was a great set of play, how they managed to get away from the Armenian defense. Yeah, Albright just found a lot of room and was just perfectly placed. And another whistle will be coming back. And really, Kanadian didn't really have much to work with. He was busy defending on his right side and just has no time to react. This will be coming back into the Americans' territory, but will be taken away by Adrian Gajor. Will be double teamed. Does escape. Great control by the Americans. Will feed left off the boards over to Gajor. And collision at the blue line, but play will continue on. Armenians with control on the left wing. Will throw it on net. Junik will make the save. Back the other way. Across neutral. And runs into a roadblock at the blue line. The Armenians are now trying to work on gaining control of the game. Off along the wall. It will be chipped up towards the neutral zone and gloved down by Mick Carter. The Americans having a hard time trying to transition through the neutral zone now. But we'll play it off the boards, and now they will just dump it in and over to Danny Cunningham. Gets pushed off, and will go up to Mark Bergamasco, base out of Pittsburgh. And goes right back to the point. Now it goes towards Bergamasco, but he'll leave it over for Brendan Persichetti. And we are getting word that Steve Gregory has an injury. We'll keep an eye on that. So yeah, he is actually not playing today. So the Americans are down a player for today as they get a close-up chance. The number 28, Danny Schlegel. Look at that guy tonight as a stick goes helicoptering. The Armenians has been on the defense almost all games. That goes all the way down for icing. And yeah, the Armenians were trying to get a change, but with that icing, they will not be able to. As they were from below the blue line and right there on the one-timer. Just could not bury that one. Great chance. The Americans have had firm control over the period. Tries to cross over, great block. The Armenians trying to find an attack, but they've been stuck in their zone all period so far. As we are almost 4 minutes into the game. Now again, pushed into the boards, but still hangs on for control, and now pushes back to the point. Dancing around is John Dutney. Long towards the outside and try to set up the same thing they did on the first goal that they had put in from below the goal line. It slips on the way, and the Armenians get it out of the zone. But they will avoid the icing this time. But they got to be careful because they're in the middle of the change. But the Americans will also go off on the change. But the forechecking getting to work from behind the net. Great chance by Johnny Ruiz. And now a shot from the point that goes into the corner from Joe Malilo. Americans just outplaying the Armenians. They tip one in on net, and that one is stopped. Kanadijian has really tried to keep his team in the game, and he really put up a big stop down low. And they try to center one up again. Here's a shot for the point from the number 71, Jordan Albright. That never got through, and now from below the goal line, the Armenians trying to find their way out of the zone. They turn it over. Albright goes left shot, and they score! Ricky Anderson. And that was a great pass from Albright. It looked like he was going to shoot it at the net, but leaves it for Anderson to pick it up, and it's a 2-0 game. And that will be Anderson's second of the tournament. That was a great setup. I mean, I thought that Albright would have taken the shot himself. In fact, I thought that was a rebound, but that was just perfect. That was a great look. Now the Americans looking to set up again as they now hold a 2-0 lead. Now along the right wing, Mike Malloy will chip it up. They do gain the zone. Almost cut off. The Armenians trying to get a counterattack going, and there's just nothing available. Now sends back to Karan. And that got blocked on the way off that wrist shot. The Armenians trying to clear their zone. And they finally do. They can get across that red line. And they said no, but they do get it across anyway. And now here comes the attack. There's a shot saved by Junik, and he'll hang on. That's only their second shot on net. The Armenians, as we approach the halfway point of the first period, finally get an offensive zone draw. And off to take it is Yervata Terzardian. Plays back to the point, shot in that one off the glove of Junik. Now off right circle. The Armenians trying to turn things around. They've been stuck in their zone all game. Now here come the Americans. They will go along the right wing. Danny Cunningham race this one down. Trying to look for the point. Does, and now plays off the boards over to Vinny Tuminello. We'll play the cycle. Back to Tuminello on the right corner. Now cycles with Drew Albright. And now we got a whistle and a penalty coming up. It is an interference call. And it looks like it's going against the Americans. Let's take a look. Not clear where the interference is. Oh, there it is, right there. And with that, the Armenians are going to go on the power play. And really, it's been the only times that they have tried to get any offensive push. Here's a shot from the point, and there's traffic out in front. And back over to Komitas. Goes right back to the point. They're taking their time, trying to set up something. Komitas with a shot, and that's stopped by Junik. And the Armenians trying to find a quality shot there. They try to go with a one-timer, but Junik with that extension of the glove. But keep an eye on the slot. Well, looks like the Armenians are spreading things out there. There's a shot and that's blocked. Yeah, both their defensemen were at the blue line. And by the way, that was Persichetti that got called for that interference call. The Armenians try to gain zone. Look out! Great block, and didn't quite have enough time for a breakaway shorthanded, but that was a great block at center. And the Armenians just dump it down. A minute gone in the power play. As the Americans play keep away. Back in their own corner, tries to dump it out, and that one goes out of play. And they're going to place this face-off outside the zone. But so the Armenians do not have the offensive zones. The Americans doing a great job killing off time. Just it's really smart playing. Just focusing on getting Persichetti back. But in the meantime, they're going to try shorthanded. Albright hanging on as he faces the double team. The Armenians do regain. Not much time remaining on the power play. Taking their time, and now we'll just throw to the left corner, trying to go for the dump and chase, but the Americans get there first. Being pinned to the boards. So that's just killing more time, but Papazian will get control for the Armenians. And try to clear the zone, and they do, but that's going out of play, and we'll have a stoppage with only a few seconds remaining on the power play. Armenia is trying to get a quick shot on net before the power play expires. Getting the draw is Georgian. He'll lose this draw, and the Americans will get Persichetti back. And stretch passing, they connect. Ruiz was trying to pass left over to Persichetti, who just came out of the box. And trying to fight his way through and around the ref. Back to Jared Hirsch, son of head coach Corey Hirsch. Very experienced player who has led his team through many tournaments. As along the boards, trying to fight his way through. The Americans trying to regain. Jared Hirsch will play right back. And the Americans once again playing that possession game. Stretch pass! And back and forth they go with Corey Wilson and try to go back to Hirsch. But that did not go the way they had planned. Armenians back in control. They will try to stretch it up, but taken away by Matt Curran. They collide, and there's going to be a penalty. And in fact, Curran is down and slow to get up. They're going to check on him. Let's see what happened here. So they're going after the ball, and well, it's a slide, and by rule, that is a trip. But now the question is on Matt Karen, who is still down on the floor. That really took out his left leg. They're checking with him. He's trying to move in. He'll try to get up under his own power. And yep, and that's the good news for the Americans. He is walking. So we'll keep an eye on that, but in the meantime, the Americans will go on the power play. And that should be a 2-minute minor. So the Americans will try to extend that lead. At the point. Back and forth, it is Mick Carter. Back and forth with his defensive partner, and now we'll go down deep, back to Ruiz. Along the left circle, one-timer, and that one is stopped. They actually missed the net. It's that same thing that they did earlier in the game. Wide open over to Mick Carter, but this time did not go to plan, and this is coming back to neutral because he missed the net. Dennis Hickey will take the draw, and we'll go back to Mick Carter as now the Americans have to regain the zone. They do. Back along over to Mick Carter. Right boards. One-timer, and that one is stopped. Good setup to Johnny Ruiz, but the Armenians are going to clear the zone. And Junik is forced to come out and play as he's being pressured. Mick Carter again. They're sticking with their original power play line. Now races to the corner. Dennis Hickey trying to get there and shoves behind. We continue on for now. Now plays back over toward neutral, but misses his target, and the Americans are forced to retreat. Carter, as they will try to get their second unit on. Gajor will gain the zone and will allow his teammates to move forward. And we'll go right. Covered on the right wing, and now they will try to move the ball around, and now back over to Gajor. It tries a shot, that's blocked. Second chance, and that one stopped. Ganagian trying to get his team a breather as we approach the intermission, and the Americans have their fifth man back, and we're back to full strength. Deacon around is Albright and tries a shot that goes into the corner. Gajor back to Albright. They go back and forth, and now back over to Mick Carter. Less than 2 remaining in the period. Tries a shot that goes wide. Now we'll play back to Mick Carter as the Americans just had control all period long, aside from the power play that they have given up that shot, and that is stopped by Kanajian, as that will go out of play, and we'll have a face-off on the high slot, and Kanajian just continue trying to fight through for his team. This has been the story with the Armenians, is that they've had trouble trying to transition to offense. I mean, the Americans are just finding ways to hang on to possession. And it's really led to the 2 goals that they've got now. Taking the draw is Bergamasco. They all get tied up. Bergamasco trying to get there. The Armenians try to clear. That's blocked. John Dutney keeps it in, and a shot, and that is stopped by Kanajian. The Armenians will clear, no icing. We will continue. Stretch pass, trying to catch him in the middle of the change. And tries to one-time it in, and never got the connection. Down low, right corner. Albright, and a minute remaining in the period. Tries to sour one up, and stretching across, no goal, as a flailing Ganajian somehow pulls off the stop. And that's the only thing you can do. If you don't know where it is, just lie down and stand still. And keep an eye on Kanajian's legs. And yeah, it's right there, and good call by his teammates to put the legs together. But the bad news for them is that they're going to be penalized as Nazarians go into the box. So the Americans will go back on the power play. Hickey will take the draw. It will be Mick Carter, so he'll try to get a power play goal before the period ends. Left circle. Crosses and tries to look for a one-timer in, and will be stopped by Kanajian. As you saw Mick Carter, the Americans just keep finding ways to get around the defense and finding open lanes. That's been the story all period, is that they just find a way to escape from the defense. There's a shot, and that one! Did that go off in Armenian? I will have to take another look at that, but the Americans have scored a power play goal. And actually that went off of, try to see what number that is. It looks like Dennis Hickey. So he gets the rebound. He should be credited with a goal. And the Americans are up 3-0. So with that, another dagger just before the intermission. And they'll try to go for another one there! And that one is put in! Bang, bang! Americans up 4-0. Cunningham has set it up, and then right there, what a one-timer. This may go to Eddie Urban. He was sitting right in front. And the Americans are just feeling really comfortable. And that is his first international goal, so they're keeping the ball. I mean, that's his first tournament goal. That's something he's going to be putting on the wall. But the Americans not done yet. They'll try to one-time it in. Was taken down, but the shot went wide as the clock will wind down, and the Americans will go to the intermission with a commanding 4-0 lead in what has been a really controlling game. Eddie Urban, Dennis Hickey. Go down the list. There has just been a lot of action from the Americans, and they got to be in a very, very comfortable position. So the teams will go off the floor and will have a rest, and we will take a rest here as the Americans lead the Armenians 4-0 after one. Welcome back to Place Bell at Montreal, Canada for the World Ball Hockey Championships. Daniel Wilson here as the Americans currently lead the Armenians 4-0, including Eddie Urban's first ever international goal. And we start off with a toss from the draw. We're actually going to bring back Georgian, who originally got kicked from the draw, and now he'll take it, and the Americans will have control to start off the second. As they hold a commanding 4-0 lead as they bump along the walls. Now the Armenians will try to go on the attack. Big hit! And he is down. That was a huge hit from Joe Malello. I'm trying to see who that is. Just, where'd that come from? Out of nowhere. Ouch! And correction on my part, that's actually Adrian Gajor that threw the hit. And that is Garo Moralian. He's on. Well, he's actually pending to the downed teammate. We still don't have identification of who the Armenian player is. Up, now we got that's Hovig Georgian. He's fitting up, but wow, that was a huge hit. I did not see if there was a penalty called. I didn't see the hand up. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was. And from what I understand, it does not look like there is. But in the meantime, looks like Georgian is walking off. He's no worse for the wear, it looks like, but we'll keep an eye on him. He's staying on the bench for now. So no penalty called from that. And the draw will take place at neutral. The Armenians will take control. And swinging around was Mark Bartazarmian, as that will go out of play, and we'll be coming back. And yeah, they're calling an icing, actually, and so this will be in the Armenian zone. I mean, of all the times I've seen ball hockey, that's probably one of the biggest hits I've ever seen. That came out of nowhere from Gajor. And there's a quick shot, and that one is stopped by Kanajian. The Americans just continue their attack. Malloy back to the point over towards Joe Malilo. And there's a shot, and they score! Well, not only can he get physical, he can also score. Adrian Gajor from the right circle got the shot on the right side. Gajor with his first goal of the tournament. And a 5-0 lead for the Americans. This will be interesting to see how the Armenians respond to that. As that will be along the right-hand boards and will be sent back around by the Armenians. The Americans trying to hang on to the zone, and they do. Back at the point now, tries a quick shot, and that one is sent out of play. The Americans just continue that assault. I mean, they've been looking to try to take their frustrations out on somebody after losing their first two games by 1. They first lost to the Canadians 6-5, and then they lost to the Finns in the shootout. They'll be sent around, centers up, and that one is stopped. The ball still loose. A big stop by Kanachian. As Johnny Ruiz was sitting right there. And along the right boards, and now they try to set one. Oh, man, that one is sitting on the line, and it's in! They kept digging, and the Americans make it 6-0. Well, did that go off in Armenian? But I would think that Corey Wilson will get credit. We certainly will see. As everyone was just piling on. Just a question of how the Armenians are going to respond. Being down 6-0. As they'll be sent off the right boards. And they'll try to send one across, but Ganajian will cover up. And he's trying to look to slow the play down. And this has just been a non-stop assault. As we wait for the official announcement as to who gets credit for the goal. It's back across, and that is stopped by Ganajian from Mark Bergamasco. Again, as he peels off from the defense. But this time Ganajian throws the glove on. And the Armenians, a little confusion on the line change. And now they will get their proper line on. And a tie up on the draw. It will be the Armenians with control. And that will be back to the center line. Kept in by Drew Albright. The Armenians trying to get their attack jump-started. The Americans do keep it in. Take it from behind the net. Albright hanging on, try to center up. Can't connect, and now the Armenians the other way. From the right. Trying to drive it, and never got it through. They'll try a wrist shot, stopped by Junik. Great shot by Der Ohanessian. That's pretty much the Armenia's best chance of the game. And they're going to credit the goal to Steve Cyan. And Gager will get the primary assist on that sixth goal by the Americans. So that may have been the case where it did go off an Armenian player. If Cyan's going to get credit for the goal. As the Americans just continue that attack. Garneau will try to send it around the boards. Back at the point. That was actually for the fifth goal. Danny Schlegel will get credit for the sixth goal. As that one's put on net. And Ganajian puts up another stop. He's been trying to keep his team in the game, but it has just been non-stop. Behind the net. The shots are 19-7 in favor of the Americans. And they just continue. Now from the right circle, shot save by Ganajian. As they will clear the zone back to neutral. The Americans forced to tag up. But they do regain possession. And he's sticked up high. There's going to be a penalty against the Armenians. And look out! Getting up in his face was Hovig Georgian. And he's going to be sent to the box. We know that there's going to be one for the high stick. That one I clearly saw. There it is right there. And then he just started getting physical, and the frustrations had just boiled over for him. But right there, he does get his emotions under control. And I think he'll just get the 2 minutes for the high stick. So the Americans will go back on the power play, and yes, indeed, it will just be the 2-minute minor. And back at the point, Mick Carter crosses to Ruiz, down deep, left corner, and oh, there was a big elbow in the slot, and there's an Armenian down. That will end the power play, but for how long? And watch this. In the slot. Bam! That was a big elbow to the face. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Well, that's certainly going to be a penalty, but the question is this going to be a 2 or a 5? As they attend to the downed Armenian player. And he is up. That is Rafael Fartazarmian. And he'll be going to the bench. But now the question is this going to be a 2 or a 5? Well, that's certainly going to end the American power play, but... ugh. I mean, that was just a big whack. Yeah, we do need to see that again. Again, in that slot. Just look how far that elbow goes. Ugh. So, they do call an elbow. But now the question is, how long? They call it a minor. Wow. That's a surprise. So we'll go 4-on-4 and then a 19-second power play for the Armenians, and I'm sure they can't be happy about that being called a minor. But I mean, that was a huge whack. But we will play 4-on-4 for a little while, as that one will go into the bench.
Armenia penalty to number 91, Hovig Jurgen.
And did we ever get who the American player was? Yeah, they are announcing the Georgian penalty. As they tie up on the draw, and the Armenians get control. But I wouldn't be surprised if they started getting even more physical after what's been going on in this second period. It's gotten a lot more physical. As I'll be sitting right down, and and they call the penalty on Dennis Hickey. So that's who the penalty went against on the Americans. And the Americans will try to fill up a little bit of time as that one is thrown down the floor and tries to throw it on and stopped by Kanajian. So with that, the shot's now 20-7. As you see on the penalties on the board, 42 seconds left on the Georgian penalty, a minute 1 remaining on the Hickey penalty. As the Americans win another draw, wrist shot, and that one is stopped and goes into the corner. They do keep the attack going. Circling back. Now we'll be right back to the center line. Tries to throw one off the end boards. try to buy some time as Danny Cunningham. Here's a shot, and now it's on the boards, and that one rebounded off of Ganagian, and a shove into the corner, and look out, we may have some more physicality coming up here. As they will blow that one dead, and let's start with that rebound opportunity. Great save by Ganagian, but then there's the initial shove, and then there's another one right there by Danny Cunningham, and then, yeah, you can tell the Armenians have had enough. They are getting really physical now. That shove by Jean-Francois Almay. I did not see anything indicated, so there's no additional penalties from what I can tell. And that's going to be back to the Americans, so confirm there is no penalty there. And the Armenians get their man back, but they will only have 15 seconds on the power play, as that one is stopped by Ganagian. But the physicality has really picked up in this period. As you can tell, the frustrations have been boiling over for them. Now they're trying to go on the counterattack, but the Americans are going to shut down that brief power play, as they will just send it back, and we'll get Hickey back on the floor. The Americans continue to dominate the possession game. They put 2 up on the board in this period to make it 6-0, and they may go for more here. Shot save, but Ganagian, and a second chance, that's blocked. Back it goes. Cycling around, that is Mick Carter. Tries to go across, nobody there. Carter again, below the goal line. To Dennis Hickey, left corner. Taking his time, waiting for his team to rearrange. In fact, they're going for the change. That's what they're holding for. They'll cycle around. Anisian back at the point. And we'll pass forward again. And sending it into the end boards. The Americans continue to play the cycle. Now throw a wrist shot, and Ganagian with the stop. So here's the initial rush on the 2-on-1, and that one got the pad, and the rebound was going over to Mike Bolloy, but a great block on the follow-up. Shots 26-7 in favor of the Americans. And again, it's the Americans. They're just putting their frustrations out on the Armenians. And there's a shot, and stopped by Ganagian. That shot came all the way from downtown. Now the Americans out shooting the Armenians by a count of 20. And now trying to go across, and could not handle it in time to get a shot. That's the same strategy that the Americans have been going on all game long. Just trying to peel off the defense on the weak side. As they all try to send it through neutral, the Americans forced to tag. All along the left boards. They are just killing some time now, as I will be down the floor, icing against the Americans, and we'll be coming back to their end, and the Armenians will get a rare offensive zone draw. Get a look at Daniel Charbonneau. We haven't really called a lot of Armenian names in this game because they really haven't had that many chances today. And they will lose this draw, and the Americans back on the attack. Great stretch and maybe a chance here. Decisive pass shot, and that's a save by Kanajian. Jordan Albright had the option, decided to go to his partner, and does not convert. On the right corner. They once again play the cycle. That's something that the Americans have really been putting into their game plan today. And the Armenians trying to get physical. And now they'll strip the ball away. And they will at least push it through center. And will be dumped into the corner. John Dutney will now throw the Jets on, escaping the forecheck. Attempting to pass to himself, but will be picked up by Hove Georgian. Now shot save, and that one almost got away from Kanajian. And that'll be stretched down the floor, but an icing against the Armenians. And we may have, although they're actually making sure that the Armenians don't get their change since this was an icing. But look at that stretch there. Not just from Kanajian, but from John Dutney, who was about to overrun the ball, but at least trying to get that ball on net. And that will go out of play, so now the Armenians will be allowed to change. But yeah, you can tell the frustrations have been boiling on the Armenian side. They've been banged all over the place in this period. Yes, that will be right back into their own zone. But they do have control. Attempted clear, that fails. Along the boards, that is Danny Cunningham. We'll try to pass to Persichetti, and that one, it goes into the corner. Off the boards. As they will try to catch them. Short, and that one is buried by Persichetti to make this one 7-0. Yeah, look at all the forwards. They drew them toward the neutral zone. That leaves Mike Malloy to send it right back to Persichetti, and the Americans continue to have that train rolling. A 7-0 game in the second period. The Americans will just throw it into the right corner as we approach 4 minutes remaining. An Armenian goes down. Play continues for now. He's slow to get up, but they are going to blow the whistle. Trying to see who that is on the Armenian side. That is Daniel Charbonneau. And you know what? I think his feet just collapsed on him. Because it wasn't really that hard of a push. Yeah, I think something just buckled from under him. Yeah. And yeah, indeed, that's what the officials believe, and we will stay 5-on-5. But the shot clock, 33-7. Brandon Junik has not really had to face all that much today. They'll be placed into the left corner. We'll again play the cycle. And that will be checked out of play. And we'll see where they place this draw as they announce the latest American goal. Persichetti just, again, based out of Pittsburgh, a city where it has been pretty much the gold standard as far as American ball hockey. As the Americans get another draw from below the goal line. Again, playing cycle. Hickey tries to pass to himself. That was great stick handling, but never got a shot. He does get a shot this time, but it gets blocked. Along the left boards, Jared Hirsch tries to go back to the point at the end. That shot gets blocked. The Americans again just controlling that ball. Loose ball, and that one stopped. That was a dangerous rebound, but Kanajian gets that second stop as Beloy trying to get his way into the slot. Beloy crosses, right circle, tries a shot that misses high. Now the Armenians trying to attack the other way. And this will be over to the left corner, and this will be coming right back. And in case you're wondering about the video, we are tied to a Wi-Fi, and anything that happens there is pretty much we're at the mercy of the ISP. So if that happens, just bear with us. But it's been pretty kind for the most part today. As the Armenians are going to get an offensive zone draw. And taking it is Garo Moralian. And he will get this draw, but it will come all the way back to their own zone. And resetting.
For too many men on the ice will be served by number 24.
And there actually is a penalty against the Americans for too many men on the floor. You hear that announcement being made, so that's why the Armenians have an offensive zone draw, because they're on the power play. So let's keep an eye on the blue line. Look at all four of them just defending the blue line. They're really confident in their effort. As it's back to Mark Partazarmian. Partazarmian goes left circle, slap shot, gets blocked by traffic, and it's in the second chance, and Junik with the stop. Well, he hasn't faced all that many chances today, but he's put to work now. And they're trying to pull what the Americans did earlier, but instead of the pass, they decide on the shot. They do get the rebound from Bovig Georgian, but Junik sees the rebound opportunity and makes that stop. Now the Americans win this defensive zone draw. Hickey trying to get away, and he will clear the zone. As Kanajian will send it up to his partner. And the Americans just send it right back. Shots 36-9 in favor of the Americans, and they're going to try shorthanded. To Manello. Drives the net. Loose ball. And Kanajian will make the stop as the Americans try to attack shorthanded. Manello just diving across, and Kanajian saw the threat coming in. Saw Steve Cyan trying to follow that up. Right back to the Americans, but the Armenians will have control. He'll be sent into the left corner. Behind the net, Dennis Hickey trying to pick it up. Below the goal line, we're about a minute remaining in the period. There's a shot, and that's blocked. They do get their man back on the floor. Yeah, that was Johnny Ruiz who was serving the penalty. They try to cross over. Finds Gajor. Gajor with a shot, and that's stopped. Along the right boards, the Americans continue their attack. Down low, See the defense trying to defend the post. High circle. Back to the point. 10 seconds remaining in the period. Americans trying to put up one more on the board. Schlegel down low, and that one stopped by Kanajian. They'll try one more time, but the period expires. But the Americans put 3 more on the board in a dominant game. It got testy at times, but the Americans now hold a 7-0 lead with one more period to go. And yeah, the physicality just started picking up. The Americans just feel really comfortable as they know that they have firm control, and the Armenians' frustrations just continue to mount for them, just trying to look for anything to work. Well, we'll head to the second intermission with the Americans leading the Armenians 7-0. Welcome back, everybody. Daniel Wilson here with the World Ball Hockey Championships here in Montreal. The Americans leading 7-0. It did get physical in the second period, but this will be interesting how the Armenians decide to respond. It's a long shot for them to come back, but you never know. As we wait for the teams to set up. In the meantime, the women's American ball hockey team will be playing a little bit later today, and they will be playing the British. That will occur at 1:40 today at this same channel. Tomorrow, the men's ball hockey team will be facing Greece at 4 p.m. And that will be their final game before the tournament bracket begins. They'll be sent down the floor, icing against the Americans. And the women, they will also have a couple of games themselves. They will face Lebanon at 11:20 tomorrow morning. And they'll have one more game after that, facing the Czech Republic on Saturday at 11:40 a.m. before they face their first tournament bracket game. They'll try to throw a shot on net, but it will be blocked, and Johnny Ruiz will throw it right behind the net. Americans in a very comfortable position. Matt Caron play off the right wing and over to Danny Schlegel, and he'll place a return in the right corner. And now centers up, had a chance. That shot got blocked. Mick Carter. And again, the Americans just continue to play that cycle. It's been working all day long. Why not? Over to Schlegel! Shot scored! Corey Wilson gets his first goal of the tournament off a great setup. And you see Schlegel wide open. And instead of the shot sees Corey Wilson wide open and feeds the backhand all alone on the right post. An 8-0 game for the Americans. See, that's how skilled they have been. We've been seeing that all day long, how they play the cycle, how they draw the defense away from the net. As Jordan Albright will take it to the right corner. Now trying to set it up for Eddie Urban, who gets tied up. Now centers up in the slot and unable to get the shot off. High slot. Right over towards Jordan Albright. Back at the point. Wrist shot and a glove save by Ganagian. See, he's looking for the pass, and this is something that the Americans have been going on all day. They usually defer the shot to someone on the wing, and it has worked out for them very well. Just been very unfortunate for them in their first two games that it did not result their way. Again, if you missed the first two games, the Americans had lost to the Canadians by 1, and they lost to the Finns by 1 in the shootout. But here come the Armenians the other way. Tries to throw a shot and then misses Junik. Trying to look for a way through. Komitas, there's a shot and a save by Junik. And he'll make the cover. That's Kavan Komitas on the left circle and went right over to Hovig Georgian. It's like they do get opportunities when they do have possession, but it's just been a tough game just trying to hang on for possession, because the Americans have easily won that perspective as they try to look to drive the net. The Armenians back the other way, as they will just chip into the left corner, but they did not gain the red line and an icing against Armenia. As we get a look at Jarrett Hirsch, again the son of Corey Hirsch, who is the head coach of the USA ball hockey team, as the ball is actually stuck in the netting. But as long as it doesn't have the possibility of coming back and play, it's okay, I suppose. All right, and correction on my part, that's actually not an icing, it's an offside. So that's good news for the Armenians. They don't have to play back in their own zone again, as they will win that draw and will just throw it to the right corner. But the Americans will get there first. And they will just take their time, and why not? They have a very big lead, as they will just pass the ball around, and now will play to the right corner. Bergamasco, but they're gonna whistle this one down. Wasn't clear if that was an offside or an icing, but that's gonna come back anyway. It's neither. It's actually a penalty against the Americans. I didn't see what that was. We'll wait for the announcement. But in the meantime, the Armenians are going to go back on the power play. This will be their fourth power play. But so far, they've been unable to convert anything. Back at the point, looking for the shot that gets blocked. Back at the point again. They're being a little selective on their shot. Now decides on the long distance shot. That's wide of the net. Ball is loose. And the call was too many runners on the floor. That's the second time that has happened to the Americans this game. And a shot gets pushed over to the left corner. So the Americans getting a little angsty, even with an 8-0 lead. The Armenians trying to find a lane as the Americans are in the diamond formation, trying to take away the lanes, and we'll try to backhand it, and it's stopped by Junik. Right corner again, from behind the net. Waiting for an option. Outside's come out, and it goes to the slot, and that one is set into the corner. So there was some danger there, as that one will be sent out of play. The Armenians just continue to try to find lanes, but they just don't seem to be there. That diamond formation seems to be working for the Americans this game. But the Armenians will get another offensive zone draw. 41-14 is the shots on net in favor of the Americans. We're going to put the draw on the left circle. Papazian will take the draw for the Armenians. And the Americans will win the draw. And they will just clear the zone and will kill time on that penalty. As we get close to full strength again. In the meantime, the Armenians trying to drive the net. And that one never got a connection. 10 seconds left on the penalty. And the Armenians trying to get one more shot on the net. That has a crossover. Back to full strength. Junik trying to fight his way through, and it gets tied up. They will whistle this one down, and Hickey is trying to stand up for his goaltender. He was going after Alex Mikhail Zakarian, who got tied up with Judik. Yeah. See, he's right there. He's trying to find the rebound, and yeah, he just got tied up. Yeah, I didn't really see anything wrong with it. I mean, I don't think it would have been a goal in any case, but Hickey is saying, don't touch my goalie. They're going to place the draw in the neutral zone. And it will be back over to the Americans as they do go back to full strength, looking to drive the net. And Kanajian trying to put the stick out there. Back at the point, Hickey tries to throw a shot, gets blocked by traffic. Armenians back the other way. Tries to throw one toward the net and takes a shove from behind. That was Mick Carter. They'll just throw it across the rink on the right wing. Karan will play left. Back and forth they go. Plays off the end boards. Americans just continue to kill time. They're very comfortable with that 8-0 lead as everyone comes together. And it starts to get really physical now. It will come out for the Americans. Bergamasco off the boards, and it will be covered up by Kanajian. Right, it got physical there, but not to the point where it got too physical. The Armenians, I mean, it's been a different style of play for them since the first period. So they'll try to attack the other way. Now, they have been getting more possession time here in the third period, but it's not the result that they've been wanting. As it'll be back in the right corner for Danny Cunningham. And a push from behind going down. No call, we continue. It's the Armenians try to push through, and now 3-on-1 the other way, and almost had a chance, but never got the shot off. They had numbers, but was unable to take advantage. And now Eli Batri for the Armenians. Waits for his team to make that change. And the Americans are just sitting back. They're okay with this. There's a long distance shot that got blocked. Back the other way. Corey Wilson, who has a goal. Now back to Drew Albright. Tries to take a shot and it got deflected out of play. But yeah, the Americans don't mind the Armenians just sitting back because they got an 8-goal lead. They have no problem with that. That just means that they get to close out this game faster. Once again, the men's national team have one more game before the tournament bracket comes into play. They play Greece next, and that will be tomorrow at 4. In the meantime, the women will play a little bit later today, and they'll be playing the British. And we will be covering that today as well as we get a whistle. And another draw coming up inside the Armenian zone. Well, after coming off of 2 losses in your first 2 games, this is something that the Americans needed to get their confidence back. I mean, they had some great games. They really did. I mean, there's nothing to complain about just losing by 1. It's a quick shot from Johnny Ruiz. Just misses its target. I mean, especially when it's up against Canada and Finland, two of the most experienced teams. I mean, you can't complain about that. And now from behind the net, one-timer, and that's in! And a 9-0 game for the Americans as they once again set up on the weak side. The classic umbrella. And this may be going to Drew Albright. We'll see if we can confirm that. Unless I'm mistaken that 0 for an 8. Yeah, both Albright and Schlegel were on the floor, so we'll wait and see. At least, I think it's Albright, but we'll wait for the official announcement. No, they are giving it to Schlegel. So Danny Schlegel will get credit for that goal, and we are just waiting for them to give that official word to the table. And the Americans really, I mean, it's been determined from the start of the period. I mean, unless a monumental collapse happens, the Americans are going to get their first win of the tournament. As they will just be pushed back to neutral. And for the Armenians, just more questions for them to answer.
Team USA goal scored by number 28, Danny Schlegel.
And yes, they do make it official. Danny Schlegel is the one credited with the goal.
Assisted by number 24, Johnny Ruiz.
Ruiz will get the primary assist. And the Americans with a 43-16 shot lead. They have just controlled this from the beginning. As they get tied up along the boards, they will be thrown down to the right wing. And now physicality picking up more. But the Armenians are certainly not done. Tries to feed one in front. Not connecting, and will be back to the right corner. Along the end boards. And picked up by Nick Carter. And rushing in. An Armenian defense trying to come to the aid of Kanajian, who has just been under an all-out assault today. And another save by Kanajian. Shots now 45 for the Americans. And make that 46 as that shot goes out of play. There's just no stopping this as Gajor goes right over to Dennis Hickey, who already has a goal today. And the draw will be coming back over to neutral. Gajor with a shot, and that is stopped by Kanajian. Gajor trying to retain control. Hickey with a shot, and that one is stopped by Kanajian. I mean, he's had a hard time, and it's nothing on him. It's just that they just can't seem to transition. The Armenians do have control, but yeah, the transition through neutral has been what the main issue has been. And that story just continues. You see how the Americans are stacking the blue line, and they just deny them any opportunity to gain access to the offensive zone. But when the Armenians do, they do get good chances on net. As they race to the corner, and a hit from the side by Adrian Gajor, and he will be penalized. I mean, that's the second big hit from Gajor, but this time he's going to be sent to the box for this. And that was Garo Oralian that took the brunt of that hit. So I would expect the call to be boarding. But in any case, the Armenians are going to be on their 5th power play. But again, at this point, with close to 5 minutes left of the game, this is pretty much has already been determined. But this is about the Armenians just trying to get something. As they will hang on the left side. Kolmatas back to the point, cross, back and forth they go. Wrist shot, and that is blocked by traffic. And the Americans will clear the zone, and well, they did not clear the zone actually. They had to gain that red line. Now they clear it. Ganagian will just drop it off to Mark for Tazarmian. They will just chip to the right corner, but they did not gain the red line and icing against the Armenians. Yeah, it's just been that kind of day for them. All tournament, in fact. Again, if you missed the top of the show, Meli Batri is the only one who has scored a goal for the Armenians, and it's been quiet since then. And a quick shot on net, short-handed, and that is stopped by Kanajian. Armenia trying to get something. And the official calling that penalty is an illegal body check. That or boarding, either way works. In the right circle, shot stopped by Junik. Back of the blue line. Komatas. Try to send it to the right corner. And the Americans will clear. Well, no, they did not clear the zone. Good keep in by the Armenians. And that's something that they've been trying to get all day long, just possession time. Back to Komatas again. Cross. Waiting as that diamond formation just continues to give the Armenians a hard time. 2 minutes remaining. Tries to pass one in front and cannot get a connection, as that will be clear down the floor and the Americans go off on a change. Less than 2 minutes remaining, and the Americans are going to get their first win as they will get Gajor back on the floor. So the Americans will get their first win of the tournament with one more game to play until the bracket. They will be facing Greece tomorrow. Americans still with control. They try to drive the net right corner. The shot's 49-16. Back at the point again with about a minute remaining in this game. Mike Malloy. Go right. A one-timer, that's wide of the net as they tangle up. And they'll be covered up by Kanajian. And now a little disturbance from behind the net. And it looks like they're going to send someone off on the Armenian side as he gives a shove. I mean, it's been that kind of day for them. There's just been frustrations, and they continue to gather up on the right side. And the Armenians, they've had enough. A little jawing going on. Trying to go after Adrian Gajor, who threw those two big hits earlier. I think that's their main target. They've had their eye on him since the second period. So The Americans are going to get a power play. Not that it's going to matter now. Shot or 51-17, and what has been a all-out assault by the Americans. They continue to bump, and they'll be down the floor. The Americans are just going to try to run down this clock. Really no need to keep shooting it unless they absolutely want to keep the tension simmering. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. They're just going to hold on and let that clock run down. 17 seconds left. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon, and that one stopped by Gnachin, and that's going to get some Armenians upset. You saw a little bit of shoving behind the net. So we approach 10 seconds left. One more shot that goes wide of the net. And that will do it. And more tensions simmering as Gajor gets into it with Jean-Francois Armé. But in the end, the Americans get the last laugh as they will come out the victors and will have their first win in the World Championships with a 9-0 victory over the Armenians. And there will be players of the game, and they will be announced shortly, so stick around for that. And they give high fives all around. Junik will get the shutout. He really hasn't had to work all that much this game, as we take a look at Johnny Ruiz on the near side. So they still have one more game to play, and that will be against Greece. The women's team will be playing a little bit later today against the British, and that will be occurring at 1:40 p.m. today. So the teams line up for players of the game. See Danny Schlegel heading to the bench for a moment to talk to his coaching staff. So let's go to ringside and hear the announcement.
For Team Armenia, number 31, Rafi Kanadia.
I can't say I blame them. Kanachian has had a full-out assault facing over 50 shots. I mean, despite the 9 goals against him, he's had to make all those stops. And really, he does deserve it.
And for Team USA, number 92, Nick Carter.
Mick Carter gets the call and becomes player of the game for the Americans. He's been involved in the play quite a lot and gets a handshake to the goalie. And you know that he's been he's really been working the most out of anyone on the Armenian team. But Mick Carter will have the national anthem. with that, the Americans with a huge win and a big rebound to cap off game number 3, and will now move to 1-1-1 and a really big rebound. We will have the women's USA ball hockey team play later today at 1:40, and they will be playing against the United Kingdom. But for now, we leave you here. Daniel Wilson here from Montreal, Canada. We say to you so long for now as the Americans win over Armenia 9-0.